Thank you very much, Praveen, for inviting me. Actually, I'm a learner here. All other guys are talking about logistics. I thought they will come with their trucks outside and listen to me. You know, the journey from Airoli to here, with all potholes here and there, you can imagine if that journey is with a chemical-filled tanker, what will happen? And should there be an accident, we are invited trouble. So it's good that our Honorable Prime Minister has announced national policy, but that has to be, along with Nitin Gadkari's ministry, because transportation is a very big issue. So, being an academic, I don't drive a truck or anything. So what do I do here in this meeting? And these two Nayars said something. Then Girish, Thomas, all Keralites, they said something. And Khanolkar and Praveen. So let me tell you something interesting. All chemicals are dangerous. So how do we handle this chemical business? So that is what I'm doing. So this ChemConnect. So let me see what are the opportunities and what we can do. I've jotted down some of my thoughts. Okay. So one thing is very sure. When there is a serious accidents in a chemical factory or maybe during transportation, some truck, tilts and whatever happens, maybe there is a gas leakage, there is a hue and cry. And people say, let us ban chemical industry. This is a problem. People don't know that chemicals are a part and parcel of our life. However, we have a negative connectivity with the public. Look at this picture here, right? Can you show any 3 man-made products which are made without use of chemicals? Can you do that? Well, if you do that, you will get 100 million pounds, which is waiting there since 2008. Nobody has come forward. So we give a challenge. So Queen is gone now. Charles will be coming there soon. But still, the fact of the matter is that, yes, nobody can say that we will not have chemical and allied industry. And there are so many NGOs who oppose it. They are foolish because they don't know the importance of it. Once I was in Odisha, I must entertain you also so that you don't sleep. And then the Chief Secretary of Odisha was on the dais with me. That was way back in 2001. And you know what he said? We are going to ban chemical industry. And Bhubaneswar will be Cyber Asia. His bad luck was I was the next speaker. So I told him, Mr. Secretary, it's very nice to say that we should not have pollution. We must protect our environment. But you can't say that you don't need chemicals. You can't say that. And I must teach you. And if you think that you don't need chemicals, you'll have to drop everything on your body, go home, hide your modesty. Because everything what you see in this room on your body is a produce of chemical industry. People don't say that. You are using the nice mobile phone, 20 different chemicals are used, polymers are used, silicon, gallium arsenide, name it. So people have this misunderstanding about chemical and industry. And if the accident happens, there is a hue and cry. No life should be lost in any accident. Railway crossing in Mumbai, every day 10 to 12 people die. Nobody reports that because we take it as a fact of life. So let us look at this. Indian economy, we want to be $5 trillion by 24, 25. Correct. We are little about 3 trillion economy now. And we are the 5th largest, that is what we say. And we want to be the 3rd largest. Behind China will be number 1, there is no doubt about it. US, and then India. And very recently, if I'm not mistaken, last week, Honorable Piyush Goyal said that we'll be $30 trillion economy in 30 years. How does it happen? Without the manufacturing sector, it cannot happen. It is not only the service sector which will make it happen. So if manufacturing sector is there, you have to transport goods, chemicals, materials, whatnot. And since we are concerned with chemicals, okay, what are the opportunities for the companies to partner with academia? Because I was a vice chancellor and I used to invite people to ICT and said, invest in us. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that also. And Mr. Thomas said about the dry port, right? So I established a campus in Jalna, which is next to your dry port. Okay, I must tell you that. And that time, Honorable Devendra Fadnavis and Rao Sahib Danve, they told me there is a, dry port coming over here. So it is good. Maybe chemical engineers should learn something about dry ports and help you how to have safety and all that in that dry port. So, yes, and so chemical logistics, very important is storage and transportation, right? You make any chemical, you have to store it. The quantity will decide the severity, the accident, if there is any. And what measures you are taken, like you have this big JNPTU, right? What are you doing? Are you keeping the chemicals which are dangerous? And if they mix, there could be an explosion. How are you storing them? Are the tankers nearby? Are the storage, big storage vessels? So which gases are mixed? All these things is a part of logistic. It is a part of logistic. And secondly, which is very, very important, is that we must have online monitoring of everything. The artificial intelligence and machine learning is going to be part of our system. And if we introduce that in the logistic business, we can improve the efficiency. Like you mentioned, 300, you said some 300 kilometers the truck goes, it should be 1,000. How does it go? You know what is happening in our country? We are not thought on this. You should think as Reliance. How much rest is giving to that guy who is driving? He's driving from Punjab to Tamil Nadu. He's away from his family. He develops all sorts of bad habits. Why not have something in the system where the driver does not drive beyond 4 hours from his hometown? He takes rest. There is some, lodging and boarding and returns back by taking another truck. The same driver, Punjabi driver, should not go to Tamil Nadu. He doesn't know the language. He doesn't know how to read the signs. And that is a very big part of logistics. In fact, I would like to write to Nitin Gadkari ji, this must be made mandatory. That driver should not be driving more than 4 hours and return home in the evening. He should not go away. So that will improve the efficiency. It will improve all other social problems will also be tackled, including their drinking and whatnot. Because most of the drivers drink and then they drive and they cause accidents. This is not thought of by the people, the transporters, they don't think of, they think the driver is a machine and he can drive, you just go on, and they drive in the past midnight, and at 3 o'clock in the morning they doze off. Many, many accidents. You said every 4 minutes there is one death. This is the reason. So the logistic in the national logistic policy, this should have been considered. Who is driving? Are there robots driving? Then yes, autonomous cars and vehicles, that will be the future of driving. We must think on that autonomous, vehicles. Okay, in that is concerned. So whether it is rail, road, pipeline, and sea. Now remember the new thing, like you said, chlorine is not to be taken by road but by rail. Are we having that in this country? Answer is no. So why are we not doing it? Who is planning that? What are the industries associations doing for that type of business? And pipeline is very, very important. Why we have this separate chemical zone, PCPR, whatever you are talking about. That is because we want to avoid these accidents. We want to give supply of the raw materials to the next chemical factory, because chemical industry is a consumer within itself. Another interesting thing, they say, in Christianity they say, love thy neighbor. Actually, I would say in chemical and allied industry, love thy factory neighbor. Because you should know what he is doing, because he can cause accident and you will have a problem. So are you ready for that? Think of that danger. Many of the accidents which have happened during this pandemic are of that nature. More than 130 accidents took place in chemical and allied industry. 95 plus were the result they into fire. Because the people don't know what to do with that. And you don't know the antidote also. We are talking about national skill development, right? Are we skilling our drivers who are transporting this? Do they have adequate knowledge? Suppose there is a leak, what is the antidote? The doctors do not know the antidote, I must tell you that. Doctors do not know the antidote for any chemical. So even when we teach our students in the universities, we must tell them, you must have your own list. Look at the success book and find out what are the dangers associated with that chemical. Anywhere that is true. Because you should know the antidote. That is very important. And we are talking about pipe level and see, I will tell you a little later what I'm going to talk about. So chemical and allied industry includes everything, because you talked about whether we are importing more chemicals. Answer is yes. Because some of these things, like pharmaceutical industry is not treated as chemical industry. In the government jargon, according to me, textile industry is also part of chemical industry, because you depend on all the raw materials and everything from the other chemical industry. So you cannot, although it is a very big segment, it was our staple industry in 1930s, 40s, etc. So maybe it is separated, but the dangers remain the same. The dangers are the same. So we have to look at this industry from that angle. So I would not go into the markets, because everybody talks about these numbers. So I will go to something else, not even market size. Okay. And the logistic, yeah, I'm coming to this. Because the future is going to be green energy, hydrogen and ammonia. And by 2030, our Ministry of Power says by that they announced it policy on 17th of February this year. They said by 2030, 50% of our energy needs will be made by green hydrogen and green ammonia. That means we have to generate hydrogen, store it, transport it. Same thing is ammonia, and ammonia is highly corrosive gas. Once upon a time, when the refrigeration industry was dormant, ammonia was a refrigerant, and then we replaced that by CFCs. Then we realized that CFC is no good. So that same ammonia now will be an energy carrier. Do you have the transportation facilities? What are the dangers associated with that ammonia or hydrogen? Whether it is blue, green, gray, whatever names we give, hydrogen will be a very important part of our life. Two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, big trucks, SUVs, they will be run on this. So what do we do for that? So that logistic must be thought of right now. We must develop, we must have a vision and think ahead of all these things. And so here, because I'm working on hydrogen and all, so it is only water and air as the feedstock. So new types of industries will be developed. New types of logistics will be required. And we must think of that right now. There, you see, in the national logistic policies, this is not there. This is missing. Very, very important thing is missing. And so, at the same time, we are talking about this other thing related to accidents. We don't have a national chemical safety board, which should have been there, like United States. And the National Chemical Safety Board is not the National Pollution Control Board or MPCB or GPCB. That is an independent statutory authority which advises. It does not do any execution. It does not do fining or this and that, but it is an authority which will analyze all accidents, including the road accidents, the nature of these accidents and what precautions should be taken. And that is what is required If we want to be $30 trillion economy in future, okay? So that is what. And so why I said hydrogen? Because look, hydrogen will be used in so many different industries, including steel industry, green ammonia, transportation, carbon dioxide refineries. So if you are going to have carbon dioxide refineries, these traditional refineries will disappear. We will have biorefineries where we will be using waste as a feedstock, municipal solid waste as a feedstock. So all these kind of things are going to provide a lot of opportunity for research and innovation and opportunities for collaboration with academia. That's what. So look, by 2050, the hydrogen economy will have something like 539 million metric tons of hydrogen. We will require 49,000 terawatt hours of energy in 2050. That is the net zero goal by Paris Agreement. In that, 24% will be hydrogen. And that hydrogen is a savior. It is another trinity I call wind, solar, wind, and hydrogen. Hydrogen assumes the prime role because hydrogen can be used to convert all these muck, waste, biomass, and everything into chemicals, materials, whether it is first generation industry, second generation, and whatever, okay? So there will be new innovative products because of this. Because when your traditional coal and petrol, that is all gone, crude oil is gone, we require new industries. So we have to plan for that right now. See, and we are talking about EVs by 2030. What is EV? Actually, if you analyze EV, the energy is coming from electricity. The electricity is still using coal. So that means we are running coal-derived driven vehicles and not EV, right? On paper it is EV, but the energy, electricity is coming from something. Unless that electricity comes from renewable resources, whether it is green hydrogen, wind, solar, nuclear, anything else, that is still not green. Only thing is the source of pollution has changed. That is what happens. So look at these different types of chemicals we can produce, and since there are different types of chemicals, they will not be benzene, toluene, xylene. That will not be butane. That will not be, see, for example, carbon dioxide, I can make dimethyl ether. And dimethyl ether is a very good substitute for diesel and the LPG. LPG infrastructure can be used for dimethyl ether. So we have to have norms on dimethyl ether. Still, we don't have a policy. Believe me, still we don't have a policy which is going to be a very, very important source of our fuel. Then carbon dioxide to methanol. Methanol can be nicely blended with petrol even now. But then methanol also requires, methanol carrying will be a huge business. Even now it is there. It is highly hazardous. It is volatile. And so that is another opportunity which we have right now. When we have methanol like bulk chemicals which will be in your port, you will have huge tonnage of methanol, which will be a part of our system. So you see all these so-called biofuels, bioethanol, all those things. And even in the current refineries, hydrogen is used in 8 different processes. So right now they are doing it for steam reforming of natural gas. We will generate hydrogen, we will say electrolyzers, argument's sake. Are thermochemical processes, like I have developed a process with the help of ONGC for thermochemical production of hydrogen. Yes, that's a very good process, and I can still produce hydrogen in less than $1, which other big companies are talking about. I can produce it, and I said that we'll definitely do that. Okay? So you can see the new products and new processes which will be there, so it will require new logistic. So this should be a part of the national policy, okay? So future politics, green energy, green hydrogen, green ammonia, carbon dioxide refineries, I have listed a whole lot of things, including municipal solid waste. That is going to be our feedstock. So what is the logistic? Right now you look at the logistic, the fellows bring their truck and carry something and, it smells everywhere. The water is leaking, All those things are happening there. So this is where the artificial intelligence, real-time monitoring of the trucks vehicles is possible and should be done. They would be done. That is what is required according to me. And, something else also. That is, so academia can do a lot of things for this. It's the logistic business because you are handling chemicals. They are dangerous. So what happens with different types of chemicals? For example, you have two different tankers lying nearby, big, vessels. And there is an accident. Do you have any data for right now? You don't have it. So why not do simulations? So simulations will be a very big business as far as academia is concerned, and their knowledge can be tapped, that can be used. Okay, so, and they should partner. You can give fellowships. You can sponsor PhD students. Okay, they can learn in this area because chemical safety and risk management is going to be a very big business as far as the logistic is concerned. And we should not overlook it, okay? So yes, so ladies and gentlemen, I gave you some thoughts of mine. Maybe, some of you may have some questions, and as Praveen was saying that we should answer at the end, we'll be very happy to answer. Thank you very much for inviting me.